Hey y'all, just Matt here with another little midweek devotional for y'all. I hope you're having a good week. I hope you're, enjoying the time with your family and able to find the joy in all the chaos that's going on and all the uncertainty and how everything's different. I really hope that you're finding joy in the moment and that God's really with you. And I just really wanted to share a midweek devotional with you guys. And if you've been listening to a church series, we've been talking a lot about this upside down kingdom. And in the first opening of this series, kind of talked a little bit about the natural kingdom, but I just wanted to kind of go back to just look at what the normal kind of kingdom is for our world and how what Jesus brought, which was upside down in this whole self-sacrificial love, is so much different than most of the earthly kingdoms that we find. And I say this because a lot of our kingdoms, even nowadays in our culture, it's a lot about power. Getting this power and position and status above others, and more protecting of what is ours. Gathering up our gang and building them up. Getting finances, whatever position it is, whatever power it is. So we're in control. So we get to make the calls. So we get to call the shots. And Jesus's kingdom is completely counterintuitive to this. It's about loving others first. It's about giving up power. It's about laying down status and making yourself the least of these and getting your hands dirty and doing those kinds of things. And you might be wondering while I'm doing this video and I have dust on my shoulder and you're like, doesn't Matt know he needs to clean up before he does a YouTube or podcast? I do, but I just wanted to do one at work. And today I've been helping with jackhammering and stuff, so I'm a bit dusty. But I think this, for me, is a great example that reminds me to never let a position or status go to my head. You're never too important to, not take out the trash or do the dirty jobs. And I think that's the biggest aspect that I've learned from this whole upside down kingdom that Jesus brings. Because a lot of time in a lot of the kingdoms that we find in our world today, it's about power and status and lording that over people. And Jesus brings something totally different. And we've been looking at that as a church throughout the past couple of weeks. And we've done different, aspects of what this looks like and how this kingdom is different. And I was really tried to hone in on that. And I really wanted to do this midweek devotional and just share with you guys a really short verse. And it's from the Gospel of John, and it's from chapter 13, and it's verse 35, which is in the middle of Jesus giving teachings like he does. And he's talking about how people would know that they're his disciples. So he's kind of given this big interlude about how. So I'm going to read the verse with you from my phone on the Bible app. Oh, look at that. My fingerprint thingy doesn't want to work. That's just a little segue now while I put in the pin. There we go. Now it's up. So John 13, verse 35 in the CSB version says this. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. I just want to read that again. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. And I guess that verse gets me thinking. And I don't know what it does for you. I can't see any of you. I'm really just talking to a camera that I have propped up on a chair at the moment and into the speakers on my headphones. But for me, it makes me wonder if anyone would really say that about the church. And I'm not even talking about our we need to love everyone. But if we took a step back and someone just looked at a church and how the church treats each other, would they really say we love one another? Do churches really share resources that well? And I know some churches do a great job at it, and is not anything about churches, because I think churches are beautiful. But I'm just saying, if we took a step back and even remove churches, because let's face it, at the end of the day, churches are just made up of people. And people are always messy. So our churches are messy. But when it comes to us as Christians, though, and people that make up the church, and with how we treat each other, do you really think anyone in the world would know that we're Jesus' disciples by the way we love one another? And that's something that's really confronting for me, as I'm sure it might be for others, because I am far from perfect. I'm far from, a great person at all. But it really makes me take in some of the times that I haven't shown love. Some of the times that I've let my own ego or my own pride get in the way. And verses like this really challenge me to try to lay that down and continually go to Christ, asking Him to help me love others, to be known by my love for others in the Christian community and even outside of the Christian community. Because I think if we're able to do that, it's going to make a dramatic impact on our world. And to be able to do that, we have to first take the time to really sit and reflect on our own actions, on our own ability to love Christians and people outside the church, and really sit in that space and really own up to, past or current or whatever it is, things that might be going on. And I don't think love means everyone needs to get along, because that's not what I'm saying. I don't think it, get your flowers out and let's, run around with flowers together and hold hands. Like, I'm not saying that. But I just think about my own family, and one of my brothers that I connect so well with, my brother Patrick, and as you might listen to this now if I tell him I talked about him, but we get along so well. And we have so many great conversations. But we really think and view things a lot differently at times. And we voice those to each other. We don't agree on everything. And I love that. And I love that the fact that even though we don't agree on everything, there's still so much respect and love in our communication with one another. He has been one of my biggest advocates in my Christian journey, in my Christian faith. And he wouldn't call himself a Christian, but he has always encouraged me and lifted me up and been someone to support me, been someone that's proud of me as I continue to go down this path of following Christ and what that means. Noticing the impact that has on me and my family. And we have the greatest relationship. So I don't think to truly love one another means we have to agree on everything. But it means we need to find ways to agree to disagree. And I think sometimes in the Christian community, we struggle with that. And that's something I know myself wants to get better at. So I want to encourage you this week to spend some time with God, however that looks like for you, and think about this passage and really reflect on if someone would say that about you. Not in a judgmental way or a way to be better, but just a way to find out. And then sit with God in that space. Let God meet you in that space. do the inward work so we're able to love ourselves and love others more. And God, I believe, can help us in that. And Christ, to me, makes that clear in scriptures like this and countless others we can find in the Gospels. And I just really pray that, you know that you're loved by God and that God's always available to hold a space for you. That's real, that's vulnerable, and that doesn't ever need to be fake or filled with shame or judgment. So I just want to close in prayer. And I really hope you've enjoyed hearing this. If not, you've probably already clicked off, so that's all right too. But I'm just going to pray real quick. God, I just thank you for who you are. I thank you for your amazing love. And I just really pray that you'll help us as a church, and even, especially me as a follower of Christ, to love others and to be known by the way that I love others. And to help me understand more and more what that means, and to help us understand more and more of what that means. And give us an ability to agree to disagree. Give us an ability to, in our disagreements, in the issues that we need to discuss, to somehow still have love at the center. And I don't know how that looks. I'm not super smart, but I know you do. And I just pray that you help us walk in that. You help us take that inward journey to sit with you in that. And I just really thank you for who you are, God. In your name, amen. Thank you all, and I really hope you've enjoyed this podcast or YouTube, depending how you're listening to this. But really hope you enjoyed it. And may God's grace and peace be with you this week.